Привіт, guys! І одразу свідчимося на англійську. Hello, everyone. And drop the plus in the chat whether you can see me and you can hear me well. If you're with me here, of course. Okay. Vova, hello. Lovely to see the chat working. Okay. Oh, that's great. We can see you now. Oh, that's lovely. Lovely. That's perfect. Because I was worried that maybe there will be some technical drawbacks or something. Anyway. Okay, good. That is amazing. So I want to say hello, and I will say it each time I see you here once again. And welcome back. I mean, long time no see, like about 2 days. And to tell the truth, today we're diving into one of the most common and practical topics in tech interviews and generally the team communication, like your tech stack. Whether you're applying for a job or talking to your new team members or something, the ability to clearly explain what technologies you use and how it's super essential. And you do not actually need to list everything that you've ever used or ever touched, but what matters is being able to highlight the right tools and explain why you use them and how exactly. And just like the previous time, remember, so this is the theory. This is the theoretical part of the course, and we're building your foundation. But it's practice that actually brings results. So we're going to practice a bit today, and I have some surprise for you that I'm going to mention throughout this course. So yeah, let's get started. And before we start, of course, I'm not a robot, so I want to know how you're feeling today. So drop a word in the chat to describe how you feel today, like lovely, beautiful, amazing. Do not write bad or awful. Don't do that. Just drop a word. So what's that? Ok. Okay, yeah, so that's just okay. Yeah, I mean, nothing special. Hello, thank you. Ready for a job. Okay, great. A little bit tired. I mean, that's understandable. So today's Thursday, and tomorrow is finally Friday. We'll have the opportunity to get some rest. Yeah, and being tired, I mean, in the evening, it's, yeah, super clear. Feeling fine, Yaroslav. Okay, that's amazing. I hope you have great plans after this session. So I'm not gonna steal your time like previously, like on Tuesday. So we're gonna start right away. Okay. Let's break it down. When someone asks you, like, hey, what's your tech stack? They're actually not asking you for, this full CV of tools that you used and experimented with. They want a quick and confident overview of what you actually work with regularly, all the time. And here's the idea. A tech stack, it's, you see, a combination of tools or technologies that help you build and run a software application, like from Frontend to Backend and everything in between. So let's look at these key layers. First, it's Frontend, like what users see and click on. Oh, get it. And here you see also the examples like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Angular, and so on. Then backend. So this is the server-side logic, APIs, calculations, and so on. Also, we have different kinds of database. So where the data lives, for example, MySQL, and so on. And last one, but not least, DevOps and tools. So how everything gets deployed, tested, and maintained. And this is where I want to hear from you again. So what technologies do you use most often in your work or projects? So type them in the chat and I will be reading. Yeah, I just want to hear more ideas from you. Like, what's that? Languages. Python. Is this something similar to Harry Potter, like he spoke parcel tongue? Yeah. But you speak or use Python? Amazing. Okay. What about other ideas, guys? Frontend, C#. Okay, good. Okay, great. Okay, I'm talking to people who know what we are doing here. JavaScript too. By the way, the person who wrote JavaScript, like Lord Bambucha, that's that's just the great nick. Did I use Python? Okay. Working Ukraine firm and made it types working more. Okay. All types of mentioned database, despite what. Okay. Sharp for game development, Git for store projects. Good. Feedback. Okay, Vitaly, I absolutely got it. Sales and process that combine software development. Okay, that's great. And again, I say one more time, like, I know that I'm talking to people who know everything about this. And also, do not worry if your stack is simple or still in progress and you're developing it. And the goal is to get comfortable explaining it, like, clearly and without overthinking. I want to say that mostly when people hear tech stack, yeah, we'll come here. When people hear tech stack, they often think just front end and back end, but here's more to it. Like, a complete stack usually includes 4 parts, and knowing how to talk, not to use now, but talk about each one shows that you really understand how things work. Like, not just that you clicked on in the project. So let's quickly go through each block. Front end. So again, we know that this is what the user sees or interacts with. If you work with React, Vue, Angular, this is the part. The backend, server side, yeah, this is where your logic and rules live. So languages like Node.js, Python, Java here, and so on and so forth, something that you just enumerated. Database, data stored, and DevOps tools, behind the scenes helpers. And this is how I would describe them. So the thing is that we're actually used to speaking about the tools with the same people all the time, like developers and QAs, PMs, and so on and so forth, because we speak the same language. But we have to understand that going to the interview or describing other people, for example, stakeholders, most often they do not speak the same language as us, developers and IT guys. So we have to be able to drop it down a bit and be able to explain what exactly you're doing and for what. And this is what we are talking about. We will put your tech skills into practice. And today I want to practice with you a really useful phrases and vocabulary. So how to talk about your tech stack, not just, hey, I work with the Python, but why you use it, how do you apply it, why is it relevant for me, actually, why do I listen to you, why is it relevant for me as a listener, as a person who will work with you. So knowing what you use is one thing, but again, explain it clearly, that's another. So that's what sets you apart in interviews, teamwork, and client calls. Here are the few sentence patterns you can steal from me that I prepared for you. Super useful. Or when you're asked, like, hey, what do you work with? Or what does your stack look like? Just help me to explain it. And here are the examples. So I work with, and you mentioned the technology. For example, I work with React for what? What's the purpose of working with it? Like, I work with React for building user-friendly interfaces. Or our tech stack, or my tech stack, includes what exactly? Like Node.js, Express, and MongoDB. So you enumerate that. Enumerate what exactly you are using, what is included in your stack. And again, do not forget to mention the purpose. And we use something to achieve something. For example, we use Docker for what? To do what? To containerize our applications for easier deployment. So, guess what? Let's make this part your vocabulary. So you're not just, listing tools and listen to me at the background, but actually sounding like someone who knows what they're doing. So drop your version in the chat. Describe what you're doing. Describe your stack. How would you answer this question? I mean, this question that I suggested to you, like, what do you work with? And what does your stack look like? How would you answer it? I will be super interested to hear about that. Still waiting for 10 seconds for you. I need to think about putting some music at the background when, sitting in silent here. Yeah. So that just gets some energetic. Okay, I see one more. I work with MySQL or Bench for safe data. Okay, that's nice start. Okay, you can make it sound a bit more natural by, adjusting the grammar and explaining the purpose a bit more clearly. For example, I work with MySQL Workbench to manage and store user and product data on the server side. So add some details, explain it more precisely, a bit more precisely. Yeah. So I added just 2 or 3 words, like to manage and store user and product data. But that sounds a bit better, like a bit more natural, like with a better flow. So keep it in mind. Then, Bodя, love it. My stack is Python. A script engineer. Okay. What we can improve here? Yeah, that's a good base. Actually, here you have a good base. Also, you can improve some clarity and grammar just a bit. And you can say, my stack includes Python, MySQL. I work as a scripting engineer. I work as, not just but I work as. And you could also add, like, quick detail on what kind of data you scrape or what tools you use. For example, Scrappy or Beautiful Soap, like, to make it sound more complete. Yeah, because so more complete, more solid. Next one, Olha. I work with Confluence to organize requirements effectively. Okay, I also like the base that you implemented here. That's nice and clear. Okay, maybe we can add, like, to organize and document project requirements effectively, like project requirements. Because what requirements, that's not clear from this statement at once. That's why just a bit clarification. Yeah. The next one, Anna Pavlenka. Okay, I use SQL to create DB. A mobile application. Good. I work with C# to create backend logic for these amazing. Oh, that's a solid start. Just love it. Okay, you can add here, just that's optional because that already looks good. You can add what kind of mobile app it is or specific feature you've implemented, because that makes it even more impressive and concrete. What exactly you are speaking about. Okay. I see from Vitaly, I primarily work with MMCQL for my project. HR says, the store workers data on secure server, mostly for confidentiality. That looks also professional. That's good. That's a nice content. Let me think. Let me think. Work with. Okay. So that already looks good, as I mentioned, but you can briefly also mention how you ensure confidentiality. For example, that can be access control, that can be encryption, because that will also make you sound more professional, the people who listen to you. Okay, guys, 2 more and we continue because I have more practice prepared for you. Yep. Vova says, I use Plus server technology to create registration form for digital innovation hubs. Lovely. That's a strong start also. Maybe you need to add why you use it. For example, for digital innovation hubs, handling user input and server-side logic, something like that. And if you implemented any specific features like validation, authentication, also mention it briefly, because that would also add some depth and show like practical understanding of what you're doing. Okay, and the last one, so he says, I work with Unity and create small project from start to end, UI, logic, link with base, and ads and publishing. That's nice overview. I mean, that looks good. Unity. Consider specifying maybe the type of games or features you focused on, because that helps demonstrate scope and specialization, which you're specialized on. Okay, lovely, lovely. That is amazing. And actually, this is something I wanted to mention. Remember, I said about the theory, so that's here we're speaking about the theory mostly, and this is just the first step. And right away, right now, you are building your vocabulary, you're building your confidence, the structures, and that's amazing. But we all know that English, especially for work, improves only when you actually use it. So that's why we're currently developing a mini practical course just for you, the activity and community. It will be short, focused, and 100% practical. And each session will take only one topic from these webinars, like today's tech stack, and I will help you to speak about it out loud. Like no grammar drills, just smart practice. I will share the details with you next week. But consider it from me like a friendly heads up. So it's just coming soon and it's going to be good. Yeah, by the way, put a plus in the chat if you're interested. If you're interested in what I've just mentioned. Okay, there's a container. Yeah, I also like the answer of Nikita. Like, I work in Python. My mom says it's a snake pit, but if I feel right at home. Okay. Oh my gosh, so many pluses in the chat. Love it. Adore it just. Okay, great. But it's not the end. So the another challenge starts when yeah, so let's talk about some super underrated communication skill, explaining why you use it. Because remember, in my comments to some of your answers, I mentioned like you need to state why you use it, why, yeah? And saying I use React or I use Python, it's good. But saying I use React because it helps me create interactive UIs faster, that's next level. So here's what we'll do. Again, you see so many great phrases. For example, we chose just a sec. Yeah, we chose PostgreSQL because it handles complex queries effectively, efficiently, and supports data integrity. Sorry, without my glasses today. Yeah, so you mentioned what's the reason behind your decision to use these or that technology. Or Node.js is ideal for building real-time application, and pay attention, due to its non-blocking operations. Due to it's because of, yeah, it just sounds fancy, but the meaning is the same. Or React is perfect, again, as I mentioned, for creating interactive user interfaces with minimal reloading. Like, why exactly you do this? So drop your answers in the chat, and I would be super happy again to comment on them. I just love it so much. Help you improving your skills, helping improving your ability to speak, to explain why you choose these or that specific technology. I guess it's fun. And again, this is the development of your chances to stand out of the interview. Because hard skill is when you use these or that particular tool, but soft skill is whether you're able to explain why you use it, explain the choices behind of it. Okay. I see that we're taking this time because I'm just waiting for your answers. Yeah. Okay. Some music background. Because it's okay. In this case, you might like humor is appreciated here for sure. But I'm sure that there are still some reasons. Like, even if the reason is cost, framing it as a like strategic choice shows like stronger decision-making skills. And again, this is the soft skill that I was talking about, right? So you can say, I choose this one because it's open source, it's reliable, it supports complex queries well, and so on and so forth. So even without saying it's free, it's open source and reliable. Okay, wow, that is amazing. While creating network, so pick trace to vary network at the application layer. Okay, during the process of network development, to listen, trace. That's the same. Two the same things, but okay, a bit different. Yeah, here I think you can strengthen it, make it stronger, by, I guess, briefly mentioning what kind of application layer service you're working with. It can be like DNS, like HTTP, and etc. I mean, if relevant, because that will show, this deeper technical awareness of your side. The next one, but then I chose because it's effective. It is effective tool for building and managing dependencies in Unity projects. Okay. I like that you're super active today, guys. I would say, for managing dependencies and improving, we can be improving modularity in Unity projects. So like that. So first of all, it's an effective tool that will be just smoother grammarly, and managing dependencies and improving modularity, that sounds more, intentional and technically confident. You can also add some short example next time, like what kind of system you injected with Zencheck, because that shows also this, understanding of the things. Okay, Yaroslav, I'm using TeamViewer to help users solve IT problems. Okay, because it's allowed to connect to their devices quickly and supports different types of devices. Let me think. Okay. Maybe instead of IT problems, let's use IT issues, because it's such a contextual word, like problem. Let's omit this word. Let's say IT issue. IT issue allows to connect to their devices quickly. It allows quick remote access. Yeah, let's say quick remote access. Supports different types of devices. That sounds good. Just, yeah, you could also, at how often or in what context you use it. For example, I regularly use TeamViewer in remote support sessions with clients. So you add some context again. Okay, next one, big city life. LTA role play. Love it. We use Jira as it is perfect choice for flexible and transparent task tracking. That's a great sentence. That's clear, professional. Like I just love it. If you want to sound a bit just more precise, you see, I'm here not to say, hey guys, all good, but to add some corrections. Yeah. You can say, let me think. We use Jira as its perfect choice for flexible. We might say we use Jira because it supports agile workflows and it makes task tracking more transparent for the whole team. Yeah, something like that. Because I also work with Jira myself, and really I like the transparency and the ability of tracking with the whole team. So we need to mention these particular things. Yeah. And the last one, Nikita, the last one I comment on. I chose Python because knowing this language makes you feel like Harry Potter in a fairy tale. Okay. Casting spells that actually compile and whisper to computers in Parselton. That actually stands out and makes your answer memorable. I don't know how to comment on it. Okay, if you want to add still mentioning the spell and still having the professional tone, especially in interviews, you may mention, I chose Python because it's powerful, beginner friendly, and lets you automate tasks almost like casting spells in Harry Potter. It just works. Yeah, so it's still fun because you mentioned what you wanted to say, like Parselton, Harry Potter, and so on and so forth, but still you balance between just being funny and being professional. So it will work. It still would work. Okay. And right, team, it's a challenge time. I want you to use the chat all day long today. Let's imagine you're at the tech conference and someone casually asks you, so what technologies do you work with? And you do not want to freeze or give, a messy, long-winded answer. And that's where your elevator pitch comes in. The goal of elevator pitch here is in 2-3 clear, structured sentences, give people a snapshot of your stack, role, and maybe even a small achievement. Something like, for example, I work with React and TypeScript to build user-friendly dashboards. My main focus is front-end logic and UI performance. Recently, I optimized a data table with 1,000 plus records using virtual scrolling. So let's break it down. Here we see, describe your tech stack. I work with something. Our tech stack includes, we use something. Then you explain your role. I'm responsible for the particular task. My main focus is on particular area. And I recently achieved something using React, Unity, JavaScript, anything. Now your turn, elevator pitch in the chat. So please. And again, I would be super grateful if you give me the content to comment on. 29 minutes. Oh my gosh. We're so productive today. Yeah, again, we remember that elevator pitch, that's something that I will say it all the time today and on our courses that will make you stand out. So if you're able to explain to yourself, first of all, why you do this, it will be possible and it will be easier to explain other people the decisions behind. And remember why it's so important to use only 2-3 sentences, because people don't like listening, right? They like speaking about themselves. So we shouldn't take that much of the time, because we know this time is money and so on. But the shorter, the briefer your elevator pitch is, the louder you are. That's why we have the particular structure, we have the particular chunks that I prepared for you, so you can use for your own elevator pitch. Okay. We'll be super happy if get the answers. Yeah. But yeah, while I'm waiting for some answers, I just want to comment once again that, Nikita, about Python and parcel Tanta was like spot on. That was just great. So, any ideas? Such an interesting conversation today. I know. Yeah, Anna, I love that you mentioned your tech stack, but again, explain your role and highlight achievements. So what was your achievement with this stack? Because here we see only the first part, like describing your tech stack. Again, there's still something we can comment on. For example, when saying I work with Figma to create UI design for mobile application, that's clear tool and the clear purpose. To polish it, you could say, first of all, for a mobile shopping app, because that will sound more naturally grammatically. And if you add one detail about what exactly you design, for example, screens, for example, user flow, etc., it will also sound more professional, and it will add more depth to your answers. Prototype of application, great. Yeah, exactly. So that was the achievement. Put a plus in the chat, and if that was the achievement you're speaking about, yeah? Okay, Vital says, amazing. Okay. Yeah, that's totally fine. So I hope these phrases will come in handy when you will have to explain, speak about your tech stack and explain to other people why and how often, what for, the reasons, the purpose, and so on and so forth. It's really useful stuff. So now I want us, because time is off actually, 34 minutes. Oh my gosh. My time management is so off. I want you to reflect a bit on our session today. So you can answer one of these questions. First of all, which part of tech stack do you find the most challenging to explain? Whether to explain the role, to explain why you use it, to explain so on and so forth. So what technology would you like to feel free, more confident talking about? For example, you work in the design and you want to be able to work more open, more confident about the tools that you're using particularly. And maybe you happen to have any questions to me today. That might have happened. I don't know. So let's see. While I'm waiting for the answers on this reflection task, I will comment on some ideas that I got from the chat. So Olha says, I'm responsible for gathering and documentation of project requirements. Usually I work with Confluence and looking for possibilities to use AI for preparing requirements. Great. That's clear, that's relevant, and that's just lovely. That's just lovely. What you can improve here, you may paraphrase a bit and say that you're exploring how AI tools can support and speed up the, this requirements process. Just to paraphrase in a bit, that will, this makes your focus and curiosity sound more strategic. Okay. And Bahdan says, I work with Unity for developing 2D pixel art games. But I remember that. I was commenting on something similar on Tuesday. Oh, that's amazing. Great. So, what I can comment on here. First of all, that's solid. And that's a really clear description. Okay, 2 pixel games. Let me think. Yeah, I like that you clearly communicate your focus and tools here. What you can do. Just a sec. Architecture principles. Architecture principles sounds a bit vague. You could mention one like solids, MVC, and so on to sound like more specific and more confident, for instance. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Great. But we're doing a great job. And I already see some improvements from you guys. Lovely. Vitaly. Okay, let me read it out loud. How to find balance in reflecting your curiosity using allegory, post-ton, and so-called robotic answers. I did this, I made this, and so on. This is a great question. First of all, I mean, as I usually say, especially, I would say that's super relevant for tech interviews and networking situations when you want to, stand out and sound professional, but still not that like a robot, like you just copy pasted some answer from ChatGPT. And here's how you can do this. First of all, you need to lead with clarity. For example, you need to start clear, some factual sentence. I chose Python because it's widely used in data analysis or analytics and has simple syntax. Yeah, Python has simple syntax. Yeah. And then add some personal twist. Like, honestly, it makes me feel like a wizard casting spells. It just clicks. Yeah. So first, you give the real explanation, like clear, factual stuff, like fact, and then some personal twist. Yeah, like, that makes me feel like a wizard. And also, remember that you need to use these metaphors, we call them metaphors, to illustrate and not to replace the meaning. For example, you cannot say, I use Java because it's a strong dragon that guards my code. Okay, but but you can mention Java's strictness sometimes feels like a dragon guarding my castle, annoying, and it's for safety. Java's strictness sometimes feel like a dragon again. So the metaphor should support your idea, not flown on its own. Yeah, because when you say it's like a dragon guards my code, it doesn't make any sense. And also, you need to read the room. I would say that's one of the most useful tips and important tips I would give you, because in the professional context, I want to highlight, in the professional context, aim for 80% of clarity and factual information and 20% of creativity. Remember what I said about the Python, like, hey, honestly, it makes me feel like a wizard. Yeah. So it's not 50-50. But if you are in a casual setting, for example, your team Slack chat or some networking event, when you, again, feel like casually, you can go 50-50. Yeah. Okay. I hope that you answered your question. So, the long story short, be clear first, creative second. You have to remember that. The next, oh my gosh, as a Python developer, I'm responsible for writing clear code, everything, and then fixing it like a wizard. Amazing. Yes, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. 80% of concrete information and 20% of like a, just so fun, just creativity. You show your creativity. You're an amazing teacher. Thank you. It's great. Okay. So yeah, good. So guys, thanks for being present today. That was super cool to have these discussions and have some fun even. So I hope to see you next time on Tuesday. So have a great evening, lovely weekend, and see you soon. So bye everyone.